Welcome, everybody, to the B.A.M show, week 6 edition. We had to bring some help in this week, so we made a phone call. We got 6-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champ, Jahri Evans. Big Jah, what's up, man?
What's up, fellas, man? How you guys doing?
Man, we great. We great over here, man. It's always a pleasure to have you on the B.A.M show, my dog. You know, we always got to come through and get you on, and hopefully you can give us a little insight on what's going on in Philly. We're gonna hop into a couple other things as well. But yeah, man, I'm excited to have you on again.
Yeah, man, no doubt, man. Hey, anytime we talking football and this crazy first quarter of the season, it's like a extended preseason almost. Everybody getting their feet wet on all these teams and coaching and stuff like that. Looking forward to the second quarter of the season and picking better.
I hear you on that.
We do that at the end of the show, so we'll give you a chance to do that at the end.
No doubt.
Some big stories from week 5. A great story, Alex Smith coming back. Great to see him coming back off that injury. And a not-so-great story, also with the leg, is Dak going down. Everybody saw that. You two are both former players. Shed some light on, do you think a lot of these injuries, there's been a lot this year, it seems like, in a short amount of time. Do you think a lot of this is coming from no off-season workouts, no preseason?
To me, honestly, I really feel that way. I know, John, when we were coming up, I mean, we always kind of complained about the preseason games or sometimes the amount of practices, but I really do feel like with the OTAs, the mini camps, and some of the team training that we were able to do leading up into the season, that I think it did directly benefit us. Now, do we need 4 preseason games? No, I don't think we need 4, but I know if we were able to get out there for a couple of games, get our body underneath ourselves, work our technique, that we would be able to feel good week 1, and that's really ultimately the plan, moving forward. I know that's for me, that's how I feel. I mean, John, I would love to get your insight on it because I've talked to him about this. I really think that a lot of these injuries are because of a lack of off-season for a lot of these guys.
No, I think both of you guys are right. You just have to look at, the type of injury, right? If it's soft tissue, if it's ligament, tendons, or, if it's bone or breaks, I think the Prescott injury was just the way he was hit and taken down. And it was, not many games that you played before that or preseason is going to invent those things and that amount of force is put on the bone. And it's very disheartening. But some of these other injuries that are soft tissues or even Achilles or different things, yes, I think they are created because the body isn't conditioned or the shell isn't hardened because of the lack of games and the lack of, top-notch, I would say, contact. But, football's a dangerous game. It's a contact sport. And, regardless of preseason or not, guys are going to get hurt. And that's why you want to see guys get the most out of their contracts when they are excelling well and playing well on the field.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, how did you feel? I know when I saw Alex Smith come on that field, I was like, is this for real? Like, is this really going to happen? Because, Haskins was out with the illness, and quarterback for the Redskins went down, and then next thing you know, Alex Smith comes in, and I'm kind of like holding my breath. And then, the first play out the gate, and, they kept showing up to his wife and his kids, and his kids are all happy, but the wife's over here like with her face over her hands, like shaking her head and rocking back and forth because she understands that the risk that this man took to come back, he loves this. Alex Smith might be the one person in the league that loves this game the absolute most because everything that he's been through for the last couple of years, and for him to step on that field, it was so inspiring to see. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I was nervous, but I love the fact that Rivera and his crew called their first pass play just to get it out of his system.
Yeah, I think go ahead, B.
They kept calling pass plays and kept ending up on his back. They were like, he's good, but let's see how good he is going up throwing against arguably the best D-line in the league, sacked 6 times. But like you said, I was holding my breath, but after a while, I was like, man, get him out of there. Nobody's blocking for him.
When I saw him at the beginning of the season, when he was like walking around in the flip-flops and you saw him like gingerly walking and stuff like that, my first thought was, please don't put this man out here this season. Like, please, let the young guy play. Let him be a coach in the classroom. Let him practice, get on the field. But, I guess for the team itself, the scenarios changed, right? The guy couldn't play. Haskins couldn't play. Then the young guy got banged up. It's like, oh, we don't have a choice, right? But, seeing him out there doing what he loves to do and having success and even getting those hits, I think did a service for him, mentally. You know what I'm saying? Being hit, even though he was sacked, 4, 5 times, whatever, how many times he was hit, I think it's going to be better for him because he got hit. If he didn't get hit that game, then he's always like, oh, I didn't get hit yet. So, no, it was definitely a feel-good story. It's always great to see guys come back and get back to playing the sport that they love to do. And it's always going to be nerve-wracking for the families and a lot of fans too. I just hope that even though if he's playing out there the rest of the year, that guys don't hit him low. That's the biggest thing with that guy, right? Don't hit him low. Right. Understand the healing process that he's probably still going through. You know what I mean? Seeing him walk in the preseason, and that was 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. He's out there playing, but he ain't 100% yet, in my opinion.
And I apologize, John, if I messed up your introduction over there talking about soft tissue bone. Did I miss a Dr. Evans over there?
No. Hey, my bachelor's in exercise science, so I got a little bit of lab work. You know what I mean? Just a little bit.
That was good insight. I was hoping I didn't mess anything up. On the other end of the spectrum, this is the highest scoring year ever through 5 weeks in the NFL, averaging over 51 points a game. Both teams combined. I tend to think that that's because of no fans in the stands. Offense has an advantage there. Everybody's on the same page. You two both played on that stage. You two played in front of 70, 80,000 screaming fans. Give some insight on why they could be scoring so much this year in particular. Jah, you go first.
I think it's kind of like the same thing that happened in the NBA, right? They saw the Golden State Warriors putting up threes, scoring all these points. Everybody's thinking, oh, to keep up with the Warriors, we got, to keep up with the Warriors, we got to put up shots and we got to put up threes and we got to run. So you look at it, you're like, oh, to keep up with the Chiefs, we got to throw deep balls, we got to be fast, and we got to put up points, we got to get a lot of yards. So I think that is kind of happening this season to start off the season. And maybe it's a little bit easier for some teams in the personnel that they have to throw the ball, to do a 3-step, 5-step to get some yards instead of trying to let the guys play behind their pads because they didn't have a training camp, of hitting the holes and the timing and the running backs and stuff like that. Maybe they were trying to gradually get it in, but I mean, you look at the Tennessee Titans, they're gonna run the ball regardless.
Right. They're gonna run that rock, and it's funny that you say, but offenses can communicate at a high level whether they're playing at home or away. There's no issues. There's no there's not as many false starts. I feel like everybody's kind of just on the same page. It's an even playing field out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because some of these environments you go to, you might have a couple 3 and outs in that game just because it gets rowdy. 2nd down, 3rd down, and somebody's off, or somebody doesn't get a certain signal. But now, I mean, you can hear the quarterback. When you're sitting on the bench, you can hear what the opposing quarterback is talking about. So, I just think the defenses aren't benefiting from that crowd noise. I just think it's more of an opportunity for these offenses to put up some points right now. I'm enjoying it because it's a lot of highlights right now, but I can't wait until we can pack stadiums again. I don't know if it's going to be next year. I don't know if it's going to be 2022, but we're going to be seeing some high-powered offense, and these NFL teams continue to keep flourishing because, Statman here definitely said that this year is the most points that's been put up so far, right, up to this point in the league.
Yes,
so
sir.
I kind of see the trend continuing.
Well, that gives us a good segue here. Jah, we do have you on, so we're going to have to talk about the Eagles. And while we're talking about scoring a lot of points, that's a good segue for a team that's giving up a lot of points. The 28th ranked defense in the league, 23rd in points scored. They're 1-3-1 in second place, so they're still, they're a game out of first right now.
Right.
So could turn the season around. You got Carson Wentz, who's thrown 9 interceptions in 195 attempts. I know you've been watching a lot of those games. You watched a lot of those attempts. Give us some insight on the Eagles. What's going on there? I know you got a lot of injuries. You got Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, Alshon, Deshaun, Darius Slay. But give us some insight on the pulse in Philly right now.
Yeah, the Pulse it's the NFC East. A lot of the Redskins, they didn't count them in the beginning of the season. The Giants, because of the quarterbacks.
Who was that first team?
Oh, the Washington football team.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've said that this season. Wow. So, WFT and the Giants, they counted both of those spots out at the beginning of the year. And now since Saquon's gone, they definitely count the Giants out. So it really was only the Cowboys and the Eagles to start the year off in the NFC East. And both teams started off slow, and here they are. They were in first place last week before the Cowboys came back and won. But I think that their slow start is because of the injuries they had up front and at the running back position, at the wide receiver position, and them not trusting their young talent. But what we saw last week and the week before, they got some young receivers that are ready to step up. And the D-line for me with the Birds is they're the most veteran group. They're the group with the biggest dogs right now. They got to go hunt. They got to eat. If they play better on the D-line, the back seven will be better. The linebacker core is not where they want it to be, right? You got one guy covering the fastest guy on the Pittsburgh Steelers team down the field, number 47, when he gets beat over the top. The safety was slow to get there. So their back seven is going to benefit from the rush of their dogs up front on that D-line, and they have rushed pretty good, but they're not getting home consistently, and they have to do it every single play. You know what I mean? It's different when a player has to do it every single play. You listen to the guy on the Cowboys, he's like, you don't expect us to play hard for 7. Yes, we expect you to play hard for every time you touch the field. Play to the whistle every time you touch the field. So that's something that they got to do. I feel as though they got to do it up front. More importantly, if they do that up front in the O-line and the D-line, they will see good things happen. And also having the running back, number 26, the young guy, he came back with a couple games ago. I don't think he was there the first couple games. He was dinged up. You saw the impact he can have in the running game to help Carson. And Carson has to be better too, man. I think he's slow in his progression. I think his timing is off with the receivers. And, I just feel like he doesn't have that comfortability. Even with Ertz, you see it, very early on in the season, he didn't have it. But he found something with that young kid, number 13, last week, and maybe they can build on that.
Now you're talking about young talent that they have, and you're talking about firming up the line. They're going against the Ravens this week, so it might not be a good week to work on that, going against that D-line. But the young talent that you do have, it looks like they're trying to get Jalen Hurts in some possessions. I saw him come in, did watch a little bit of the game. I had the Red Zone channel on. So I saw him come in and throw a nice ball, but they took him right back out. How long do you think it's going to be before Jalen Hurts starts a game? Do you think it'll be this season?
It won't be this season. The only way he starts the game is if Carson isn't in the Eagles uniform. He's the quarterback. Yeah. He's the quarterback of the future here. He's the franchise QB. They just have to make sure that they have the parts around him so he can flourish. I think I like the Jalen Hurts pick, don't get me wrong, but I don't see him, taking that starting position anytime soon.
Fair enough. All right, so there you guys have it, a little insight in Philly from Big Ja. We're going to go and give you guys our 3 best teams from each conference. So we're going to go AFC, NFC. I'll start it off. We didn't tell Ja about this, so Ja, if you didn't do it, you can think about it. I'm going to go right off the bat with my Ravens, number 1. The Chiefs only have 1 loss, but they could have lost to Los Angeles Chargers. And then they did get upset last week against the Raiders. So I got the Chiefs at number 2. And 3 was kind of a toss-up for me. I know they did lose last week to the Titans, but I went with the Bills here still. I think the Bills were overlooking Tennessee because they play the Chiefs next week. I think it was a lot of, are we playing? Are we not playing with the whole COVID in Tennessee? I couldn't go Steelers here because I looked at their resume and they beat Giants, Broncos, Texans, Eagles. No offense, Ja.
You're not offending me. I never played for the Eagles. No, I never played for the Eagles. I just live here. Well, you're not offending me. They ain't never cut me a check.
Right.
And when I looked at the Titans,
I just live here.
And when I looked at the Titans, I saw they won their first 3 games by a combined 6 points. They beat the Bills after that 16-day rest that they had. They have a brutal stretch coming up in the middle of this season where they go Steelers, Bears, Colts, Ravens, Colts, Browns over a 7-week period. I just think they're going to run into some trouble there. I'm going Ravens, Chiefs, Bills.
I like your AFC picks. I agree with you with the Ravens and the Chiefs. As long as you got Patrick Mahomes back there as your quarterback, he's going to find the open man. I'm loving his progression, what he's able to do last year and what he's doing next year. But I got the Steelers as my number 3 team because here's your pedigree. Later on down the season, you can run the ball well. Their offensive line is solid. And how else do you win games? Defense. They get after the quarterback. Dupree, Watt. They got tough guys in the middle. Big two. What's 97? Hatcher. I love what they can do up front. They bring that pressure. But to me, it's a big test. And I can't believe I'm saying this. It's a big test this week versus the 4-1 Browns because the Browns they're on the up and up to me. I was definitely skeptical of Baker, especially last year, early on in the season, with the way he would handle some of the games and how he would manage some of the games. But the last 3 weeks, I feel like they've kind of they're getting in their rhythm. But if they can handle the Browns and stop that rushing attack, if they can get after Baker and kind of keep him in the pocket, because he can be exciting, he can definitely get the ball down the field. They do have weapons on the outside, in Jarvis and Odell. But like I said earlier, I like the Chiefs, the Ravens, and I like the Steelers right now because they do have that veteran leadership in Big Ben. And they got this kid, Claypool, who put up 4 touchdowns last week. He has to build on that. You can't put up 4 touchdowns and don't give me anything this week. Shout out to you fantasy owners. That might be, he's got to light it up. You can't come out and be great 1 week and then don't come out and do at least something the next week. You got him and now you got Juju. You got to keep an eye on both of these guys. James Conner. They're led by Big Ben. That's why I'm going with Chiefs, Ravens, and Steelers.
Yeah, man. I like. I think both of you guys' picks are good. I got. I think the Bills is going to win the East. Despite the loss last night, they didn't show up. I don't know how you overlook a 3-0 team, B.A.M, but you said it, not me. I like the Titans in that division. I think the Texans are, slow start, too far behind to catch up, even though they do have some weapons. I like the Titans in that division, especially after last night. And I got the Chiefs in the West for sure. And the North, I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna go with the Ravens, man. I really am, and it's tough for me to go with the Ravens. The Steelers' defense is playing better. The Ravens does have a good defense. They do have a good line. They have to play better. But I just think that the Chiefs game is a bad output of the Ravens. I think you got 2 young quarterbacks that are going to be facing each other for a long time, and Mahomes just has the edge on Lamar right now. He's just kryptonite right now. He just has the edge, and Lamar has to get Mahomes out of his head when those guys
you don't see the same Lamar.
Yes,
when he plays
when he plays
you don't see the, because as soon as if Lamar gets down 10, it's just 10 or 14 points. It's just you see like he's a shell of himself. Yeah, because he feels like he has to score right then and right now. And honestly, you have to because that's the Kansas City Chiefs. You can't get down because that's the type of team you give them a 10-point lead. Patrick Mahomes will turn into 17. He'll turn into 20. The next thing you know, you're trying to fight your way back in the fourth quarter, and that's definitely an uphill battle that you don't want to get yourself into.
Yeah, and I like all
for your best teams. We didn't ask for how the Ravens. We asked for your best teams, right?
He stuck that in there, did it? He stuck that in there. So those are my 4 teams, and even though the Steelers are winning the division, because the Ravens played, I guess, one more game, they haven't played a game yet. But I do think that 3 teams are going to come out the AFC North for the playoffs.
Wow.
I think 3 teams are going to come out the North. I think that's going to be the division that has 3 teams. Those guys will play well. And I just think the other teams, and the Raiders, they're playing well, but I just don't see them, sustaining it throughout the – I think 3 teams coming out the North. That's just my opinion. Browns, the Ravens, the Steelers, they both got talent. The Browns – I just don't know, man. It's the black and blue division for a reason. It's just the Browns got talent. They got weapons. They can score quick. They can be similar to the Chiefs as far as scoring and getting yards and chunks. Can they stop people on defense? And I think we're seeing them getting better week to week. And I got three teams coming out the playoffs in the AFC North.
Wow, bold statement there. All right, moving to the NFC. I'll give it to you quick. Seahawks, I think it's hard to argue with them. Packers, I think it's hard to argue with them right now. When I write these two down, though, I always think of the Matt Hasselbeck game when it went to overtime. And he said, "We'll take the ball. We're going to score."
And we're going to score.
And he threw the pick to Al Harris the other way.
He said, "We're going to score and win." I think he said, "Win."
You can't write that story any better than that. I mean, you kidding me? Like, we're going to score. We're going to take the ball and we're going to go.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
And then you throw an interception to the house to end the game.
That's humble pie for your ass.
All right, so I got Seahawks. I got Packers. The third team, I had trouble finding this one, but I went to the Windy City for you, Jermaine. I went with the Chicago Bears. I went with the Bears right now. Look, they've given up 20 points only 2 times this year. Everybody else, they've held less than that. They've got the 4th-ranked defense. You said it yourself. Defense is going to put you there. Nick Foles, I think, is going to help pick up that offense. You saw a little bit of it last Thursday night. But I think he's going to, expose it more the more time he gets there. And how about this? I'll throw this out there for you. What if they grab Le'Veon Bell to mix it up?
I mean, then, there's 31 other teams that want to grab Le'Veon Bell too. So I'm gonna give it to you like this:
30, not the Jets. 30,
not the Jets. Whatever. You never know. But look, listen. I love the Bears. Obviously, bear down. I'm with them. All right, cool. But look. When it comes to the Bears, they got to have a better rushing attack. If you're talking about taking your wins through the middle of the season, through the end of the season, and getting into the playoffs and winning games, Nick Foles is good. He's done it before. But in Chicago, you're going to have to run the ball a little bit higher. The last couple weeks, they had 29 yards rushing, and they had 27 yards rushing. The last 2 weeks, okay? That's not going to get it done. That's not long-term winning football. That's not playoff football, in my opinion. I do agree with you. I think Russell Wilson right now.
I'm just saying, can you give us your picks and not tell me?
I'm going to give you the picks. I got to combat what you said for a second. But look, I do like the Seahawks because I'm a big fan of Russell Wilson. He's playing great. He's playing really tremendous right now. He's definitely the bright spot in Seattle. I like the Packers. Aaron Rodgers seems like he's kind of back to his old ways. He kind of seems like he's back to his old self. And you know who my third pick is, baby. Them boys in the bayou, listen to what I'm saying. When they get Mike Thomas back, Emmanuel Sanders, he's coming into his zone. Jared Cook, listen, it's like a big pot of gumbo down there, baby. They're stewing it up. And they got all the pieces. And Mike Thomas is that andouille sausage that you're going to throw in the gumbo. He's the part that you can't take that out the gumbo. And when you do, things get a little messy. It's not as good. The gumbo don't taste as good. But now he's coming back. They get a bye week. He's going to be healthy. Now Drew has his security blanket. You got Emmanuel Sanders that's playing at a high level. Alvin Kamara is back to his rookie of the year ways. I'm excited about it. He's catching the ball long. He's running the ball well. Latavius Murray's doing his thing. NFC, Seahawks, Packers, Saints.
Nice, man. Listen, I'm going to go with the NFC West. The Seahawks are going to win that division. They just got them things going. They got some young guys balling. And, they revamped that whole line from the last couple of years. I don't think there's one starter left, and they're playing very, very well. Not somebody that they drafted anyway. In the South, obviously, the Saints are going to take the NFC South. The Packers is going to run the North. Go, Pack, go. We know how that goes. And I'm going to say the Eagles are going to win the East. But, once again, those are my top 4 division winners. And I think it's either going to be the South or the West. It's going to have 3 playoff teams again. I'm telling you. Yeah. It's either going to be South or the West and we'll have 3 playoff teams again. And we'll see if the Panthers can make it to the playoffs without, CMC. But the Cardinals is up there too and the Bucs. So the South and the West are going to have more of the playoff teams. Just like Bush said with the Bears. Hopefully they can get their ground game going, but it gets very cold up there early. And we'll see how that wind swirls around there. But if they can get a ball to Jimmy in the red zone fringe, they can put up some points and put up a lot of them. But they're going to need to run the ball in that division to win.
So just to get this straight, for the NFC, you took 3 teams you used to play for and your hometown team.
That's right. I played. That's right.
Hey, they cut
Just
the checks,
checking.
baby. They cut the checks. Man. You know, that's how we living, baby. The crib is sponsored by the New Orleans Saints.
Cut the checks, baby.
They cut the checks, baby.
Speaking of picking your old teams, it's time for the picks of the week, which Bush always tends to go with his former teams. Just some trends for you guys out there that are betting. 2 teams have failed to cover the spread yet this year at all. I'm sure you can guess one of them is the New York Jets. The other one, though, is the Dallas Cowboys, which kind of shocked me a little bit. They did, their win was close. Their 2 wins were close ones where they didn't cover. The Green Bay Packers are the only team to be undefeated against the spread this season. So maybe that could sway your pick this week. The Saints are the over in the Saints game is 5-0 all year. So the Saints are keeping it high scoring. And the Arizona Cardinals, every game that they've played has gone under the total this year. So low scoring there. That may affect some fantasy owners out there as well. So we'll give you our picks now. 3 picks we're each going to give you. I'll start it off first. They told me this was the weakest game on the schedule, so I'm just going to get it off the board really quick. I'm going Giants over the Washington football team.
Oh, real exciting, me.
Giants are going to beat the Washington football team and a one-legged Alex Smith. I'll take it.
Okay. All right, my first one. I'm going Titans over Texans. The Texans they aren't putting it together right now. Like I've been saying for weeks, Deshaun Watson has to get the ball out of his hands. The Titans are playing good ball. Derrick Henry has the strongest right arm in the NFL. He has struck again with his stiff arm. He's made a fool out of another defender. They're playing really well. They run the ball really well. I'm a fan of what the Titans are doing. Tannehill's leading these guys. I'm going Titans over Texans for my first one.
My first one, man, I'm going to have to go Pack go with that, man. -1 is just not going to get it done. They're going to put up more points, and I actually got them beating the Bucs. You got 2 legendary QBs and Brady and Aaron Rodgers going at it. You got a good D-line over there at the Bucs, but the Green Bay Packers O-line has been playing well, protecting A-Rod and running the ball with those young running backs. So, man, I think the Packers -1 is just going to cover, and they're going to win.
That's a good segue into my next pick because I went with the Bucs. I just think that for every reason you said, 1's not enough, right? They're coming off a bye week, and they're only giving 1 point to the Bucs. Brady didn't even know what down it was to end the last game, and Vegas is telling me it's 1 point. I think everybody, including you, is going to be on Green Bay, which makes Vegas stays open for a reason. I'm going the other way. I'm taking the Bucs.
Nice. All right, well, my second game is this. Bear down, baby. I'm going Chicago Bears over the Panthers. And here's why. I think the Bears need to find their running game. But Kawan Short, for the defensive lineman for the Carolina Panthers, he is out this week. So that might give the Bears an option, or it might give them a way that they can run the ball this week. I think their defense is good enough. They have no Christian McCaffrey on the Carolina Panthers side. I'm going Bears over the Panthers. Their defense is what's going to help them win this game, and Foles is going to do a good job of just controlling the game and finding his targets.
My second game, man, I'm going to go with the Browns over the Steelers. The Browns getting, +3.5 over the Steelers. I think that they got a lot of weapons. I think they're going to put up points. We saw the Steelers explode a little bit last week with the young guy, but I think there's going to be a game plan in effect for that to stop that. And I just think that the Browns have a lot of weapons. They're going to put up points, and they're ascending right now, and they're doing some good things. And it's a divisional game, always tough football in that division. They both got good 2 running attacks, but I think the Browns edge them out and win this game.
I like the pick, and I think this is a close game, but I went against you again here. I went with the Steelers, laying the points. The Browns, they played the Ravens and the Colts. They actually looked really good last week, and I think everybody's fresh. That's fresh in their mind. But like I said, Vegas stays open for a reason. You got the red-hot Browns getting 3.5 points. It looks like a no-brainer. My mama said every time it looks too good to be true, don't touch it. I'm not touching the Browns. I'm going Steelers.
Well, you kind of took my last one. I'm going Steelers over Browns as well. For the obvious reasons, I'm going leadership in this one. I'm going I'm taking the Steelers defense in this one. I feel like if they can fluster Baker Mayfield a little bit, stop the running game, I think they will do that. They're not going to sit back in a vanilla defense. They're going to heat you up a little bit. It's really up to the Browns offensive line, picking up these blitzes in the run game and especially in the passing game. If they can protect, then it's going to be a tough day for the Steelers. If Baker can find a way to find these receivers, and I think they will. Listen, it's going to be a tough one, but I'm going experience. I'm going experience over this one, and I'm going Steelers over Browns.
Well, for my last game, since, Meehan didn't agree with me on the other two, I know he's going to agree with me on this one. I'm going to go Ravens over Eagles.
Yay!
I think that though the Eagles that put up some points last week, they really having trouble stopping people, and this is the wrong team to be having trouble stopping people with because they have multiple ways to get yards and to move the chains. And I think that they just have a lot more, firepower that they can move the field with and stay ahead of the chains. And I think that's going to be problematic for the Birds. And I think they're going to possess the ball. And the time of possession is going to be in the Ravens' favor. And I think the Ravens are going to win. And I think I'm going to be 3-0 on the Bush and Me show. Beat these guys, girls show. And we'll see.
We're going to see.
We're going to see.
We're going to see. If you guys got office pools, if you guys have office pools out there and you need to beat your coworkers, follow my man Ja, because he was 11-2 in his pick'em league last week.
Yeah, buddy, 11-3, because the last game of the week, the Tuesday game, but before that I was 11-3, but I'm still 12th place.
You're only as good as your last game, John.
But I was first place. I was first place for the week, Meehan.
Right. So there you go. He can help you beat your coworkers. Rub it in their faces. All right, Ja, we thank you for coming on, man. Great insight. Hopefully your picks don't pan out so I can move up in my standings. But we always appreciate having you on and being a friend of the show, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me, fellas.
We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Y'all.